What's something in contrast you wish you could work more at?
I've always had trouble knowing where the line is for humor. Like, where is the line? And it's like kind of like I'm feeling around in the dark for it, and then someone turns on a line. It's like someone turns on a light, and it's just like, oh, I crossed it 2 miles back.
You know, I've always made a pretty goddamn good run in Brony, knowing where the line is. I'm really good about how far, how much I can bump against it or over it. Today, kids, we're really going to test that. I'm about to do more with nothing than any of the other drama channels are going to be able to do with everything. For context, or as much as I can give you, the information in question goes all the way back to March 13th. I had a source share with me a very disturbing message from possibly one, maybe two of the more visible members of the Brony fandom. You're asking me, how bad was it? And I'd argue it's the most irresponsible, reckless, negligent message I've heard from the Brony fandom, by far. To which, assuming you're asking me, well, why aren't we hearing about it? I'm going to play a little game here with you. This one's for all the Brony drama channels, and I want you to go to your subscribers. Set it to most popular. This is just a theory, naturally, but tell me if this makes sense. It's always been my understanding the biggest videos out there blow up because the major channels that watch them follow you, tweet, blog, like, share, and you get the idea. I think they're aware of that, and that's fine. I'm still grateful that they're fans, whether they do that or not. Don't worry, I won't be mentioning anyone by name. Remember that line we talked about earlier? We're gonna bump up against it today. A lot. I could put out this information, which is true. It's 110% true. The fandom, however, is very based in authority. Appeal to authority might be a logical fallacy, but in Brony it just is. I could tell you something, prove it to be true. I could show you the evidence for it, like the Flufflepuff video. Here, let's grab a sample that I've held back till now. This is Flufflepuff, aka Mixer Mike's girlfriend, who, when I outed her boyfriend, waffled suddenly, saying that she didn't tell Vita that she was 17, but here she is implying that she felt threatened by him.
Look, there are other fucking relationships in the room, which, by the way, Vita is like saving for a rainy day.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I think you could figure out which one, but I'm not going to talk about it. Ask him about the real big fucking Brony relationship that he has sitting on, like, you know, a shelf for a rainy day. Because he's been fucking with all 3 people in it.
I feel like eventually he's gonna try and go after Mike, because I swear to God, he does not like Mike.
You say in the call that he left it alone.
What?
You said in the call he left it alone, which I'm actually... Yeah, no, I'm bringing that up.
Wait,
Vita winked at
Vita
this.
left it alone?
Yeah, you say in the call, because originally, you know, what's-his-face is like, I didn't get that part, and I listened through, I'm like, no, he did get that part.
What do I say exactly?
You say something along the lines that I told Vita, and he's not doing anything with it.
Man, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
the guy was like, hey, she thinks you know already. I was like, did you? I'm like, no, I had no fucking idea. I didn't, every time I've talked to you, I never, like, pictured your age. Never crossed my mind. There was no reason to think about... Yeah, I usually...
I think the funniest accusation is someone while streaming with Mike once, when I was, I think, 16, someone thought I was 30. Like, how? Do I really sound 30?
So you guys started dating when you were 16?
No, 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I will give you some honesty. I don't know what Mike will do to combat it. I don't know.
Now, if I were being a penis, I could talk about the emotional distress Bfesh is experiencing personally, and as a result of what I'm doing implies some level of confirmation based off of the DSM-5, but I am not a doctor, and that's not how the DSM-5 works. It's not a cookbook that your average layman can just pick up and plug and play elements into. I'll be potentially doing a video on that topic, but that will be later. Remember the assertion of authority and where the fandom is based. Now, there were dozens of screenshots about the Toon Critic situation, for example. I'll bet you, unless some very important people came forward, and there wasn't that call, the confession, it very much wouldn't have had the same impact. So, this Friday, I believe July 6th, I went to someone I know who's big, who has a voice, big channel, big connections, and I mentioned this concerning message and the person behind it. And till now, mostly everyone agreed that it was troubling, but it came from someone beyond reproach. The term my friend Aeon of Dreams has used in the past would be sacred cow. It's someone so beloved that even with overwhelming evidence, people just won't listen. This friend, the big one that I talked about a moment ago, isn't as tied to the fandom, read the message, told me something that made my jaw hit the floor. See, months ago, I gave up. I stopped trying to get a green light on this matter, the go-ahead to cover this bad boy. Because truth is, I've never been an island unto myself. It's a fandom about connections and authority. So when I finally heard, hey, write up a script, I'll read it off. And this is from the huge friend, the giant one. I didn't believe him. It had been 3 to 4 months. Just no. So I was like, I don't think you understand. He told me he didn't care about big names in the fandom. He just had to run it by one other big person in the fandom. Relatively large subscriber base. Someone he was tight with. Someone he was friends with. Someone I personally have zero faith in. Let's call this other big friend the Cowardly Lion. Yes, I feel that that's apt. I expressed the person who I had a complaint against was beloved, and the Cowardly Lion would never in 100 years, no matter how much evidence that was out there, wouldn't sign off on this bitch. Come hell or high water. Guy, dude, my man, you don't understand me. Lion and I are boys. We're amigos, we're pals, super besties. And he went on, and he explained, sure, if I would have brought to the old lion, sure, because the lion thinks I'm a goddamn troublemaker. He would have cast it aside. But Lion would be so moved by this friend and his moral aptitude that there would be no question. Anthony, you're going to be impressed. Even if you don't believe in the lion, you believe in me. Now, during this whole call, I didn't. I'll be honest. But by the time I hung up, I lit an ember, a kernel, a flicker, a faint glimpse of hope peer into my furthest reaches of my mind, and it grew. Hope is a poisonous thing. Hope can make you abandon all common sense and logics, and especially things that you know otherwise to be true. So I naturally did what I normally did in these situations, and I went to Peter, aka Aeon of Dreams. Peter, and I told him, Peter, it's happening. I confessed a mix of emotions, up to and including regret, that this was happening. I had asked for it. I had this sinking feeling in my stomach. One of the 2 great tragedies in the world is 1 is not getting what you want. 2 is getting just exactly that. And while logically not getting what you want sucks, I don't have to really explain that one and why it's disappointing to you. With option 2 is getting exactly what you wanted and what you're hoping for. And be prepared to weather the storm of the consequences that entails of getting what you want. But Anthony, you had a massive friend with a big voice. Bigger than the defendant. Way bigger. I think my reserve is knowing, or at least suspecting my fans, my friends, like this person more than me. And no matter how many facts and no matter how much truth or how wrong they are, you're still going to be you, and they're still going to be them. And you can't change that. It was about this time that my friend got back to me, the big one. Things had quote-unquote gotten complicated. I left the call with Peter to hear from the larger friend. Let's call him the Tin Man. that he had told me that the Cowardly Lion had a breakdown, that I had had this information. But my friend, the Tin Man, had assured the Lion that he had convinced me not to publish the story. One, I had the information since March. Two, the Tin Man, that's the big friend, the one who was going to lend his voice to this, had told me if I had wrote up a script, which there was no script, i.e. the first fucking thing that you need to do before you make a goddamn video, at least for me. I know some of you guys are able to just shoot off the top of your head. There was no artwork made. I'd mostly bounced this information with an intent to vent, and nothing more was to be done. And to be fair, I'm sure at least half of me did want something to be done. Maybe I am wishy-washy on this one because I know how this fandom is. A while ago, I think a lot of us told ourselves a lie that things had changed forever because of the Toon Critic incident.
I've been around the community for a long time, long enough to see firsthand the effects of blind faith in the more popular Brony YouTubers. In the past month, we've seen what can happen when such faith is allowed to run rampant, unchecked. What we've seen is the cost of complacency. Ousting Toon is the correct path to ensure the safety and well-being of the community, but he was merely a symptom, and because of that I am left wondering, will the community treat the cause, or just the symptoms?
That we'd never just give people a pass because of the position. I can safely look you in the eye and tell you nothing has changed. All the backslapping and backsliding that was always there is still there. Any kind of effort to get even minimal reform beyond my post is like pulling teeth. Clearly I can push things through in my own sphere of influence, that being the Secret Rift. I mean, people have gotten busy, and sometimes things take as long as a week, but I can't really remember the last time, at least in my sphere of influence, where a serious issue took a massive, significant amount of time. Sorry, I was just being transparent there. Nothing really major to share. There's a name out there right now that I joke, if they ate a baby, I would have to look at my shoes until they were done. And that's what's happening now, metaphorically speaking. You might have your own issues with me, but you've all been given the tools to look at what I've done in the past and make up your own minds and decide if you want to be here or not. You're not being offered that in this instance. And before you consider clicking off this channel, FNGR, there are other drama channels out there who can tell me exactly what you're talking about. You might be surprised who knew about this when I did 3 to 4 months ago and told none of you this shit, because they don't have connections to the fandom, because they don't make backdoor deals, because you can trust them. That's a conversation I've had screen capped for a very long time. I've always been a shill for the establishment in this fandom, for all the big talk I've made. But where's everyone else's excuse? The so-called independent people out there. I think you know the ones I'm talking about. Anywho, I think that's as close to the line as I can get. I do have a call that I feel is vaguely related. It's a confession. There was a fan out there who was bitching to me about Webcake. I showed this online post about the defendant, and this individual agreed with them. They went on to tell me that they dated a 14-year-old when they were 19. And I told you people during the Flufflepuff fiasco, if you let adults date 15-year-olds, it wouldn't be long before someone tried to sneak in a 14-year-old. So here's the proof of that. If you think I have a point, do everything that you can to share this video. And if you don't, unsubscribe me.
Out for this, but I'm willing to do that on love. And I don't see her as just my plaything. I don't see her as my pleasure doll. Like I'm not actually into kids. I'm not. I love her. I fell in love with her. That's really the end all of it. I love her and she loves me. So, and I don't plan on breaking her heart or going to some other floozy that will some other floozy on the internet that will take me or anything like that. So I love her, and she loves me, and I swear to God that I would never betray her. So.
But you said that you guys have been involved from 14 to 19, correct?
I was 14 and 19. She was 14 and I was 19 at the time. Yes.
So, I'm really confused though. You said that she was dating
Yeah, she was. Yes, she was dating at the time. They were 2 years apart. At the time, he was 16. At the time, she was 14.
No,
So it wasn't.
there's laws that actually, again, state by
Mm.
state, you do your own thing, but that's probably in all likelihood legal.
Yes.
What I'm confused about that just seems really weird. Um, how were you dating her when? Wait, he was 16. So they broke up.
They broke up in January of 2016. I started dating her in February of 2016.
How old is she now?
She's 17 years old now. She turned 17 a week or so ago. He's 2 years older, so he's 19 this year.
Okay, my math is just. I've been up since freaking ever, and my brain is just not working. Yeah, but this was the last girl he was dating, right?
Yeah.
But
No,
I could swear that that fell apart like recently, which is why I'm a little confused.
No, okay. Things that he dated my girlfriend, then he dated a trans man who at the time was a woman named Adriana, and then he went on to a girl named Azelf, and they broke up a few months ago.
Okay.
When Dan found out that he was gay, so because he didn't always know he was gay, he thought he was bi for the longest time, and it was a mental thing. He didn't want to be gay and stuff like that. He wanted to be
Look,
bi.
I'm not judging. It's none of my business. Yeah. I'm just a little,
Flabbergasted
So
of my situation.
yeah,
I get it.
14 to 19, and you dated her how many years?
We've been in a relationship for 2.5 years now,
Okay.
and by next year it'll be 3 years, and by the time I actually meet her, we would have been dating for 3.5 years. I know it's sketchy to you, but backs me up. Backs me up. A lot of my friends back me up. So it's look. I'm not saying you have to like it. You don't need to like it. I don't expect you to like it. But I just feel like my situation is different. I'm not Zach. I'm not Zach. I don't. I don't. Yeah.
You'd have to do a lot to catch up to Zach.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of room to screw up without being Zach too. Again, my brain isn't firing on 110. Again, I can't even metaphor right now. I'm so fucking tired.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. So if you thought that would make me go, oh no, alarms in my system, I'm like, not really, because I feel like I relate to their situation because I actually.
Well, hold it. It's not so much that basically their situation. It's the stance that I found to be concerning and perhaps negligent might be the inappropriate term.
Yeah,
It would
I
not
know,
be
because
the message that I would look to seek to spread out. It seems almost like they're preaching and proselytizing for that sort of thing.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't preach because I feel like my situation is very rare. That's the thing. I feel like my situation and her situation is rare. I'm not going to go preaching and saying, go find your local 15-year-old and blah 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 blah.
Well, wait. So, but I just wanted to make you said she was 14 and you were 17.
She was 14 at the time and I was 19 at the time. We have a 5-year age difference.
Anywho, good luck with the web kick thing. I'm thoroughly exhausted. I be over here. All right. Have a nice day.
All right.